Okay.
Oh, hi, Nikki, and thanks so much for joining me today. It's nice to
Hi,
have you.
Leslie.
Hi, hello. So, Nikki, can you give our viewers a bit of a sense of who you are, how long you've been in family law or family practice, and yeah, why you got into it?
I've been an attorney now for 20, practicing attorney for 25 years, and I have a particularly interest in people and relationships.
Yeah,
And I find that the law just lends itself to being able to help people.
yeah,
And that is intrinsically what drives me, being an
okay,
attorney.
yeah,
And I'm a director of Garlicke and Bousfield in Cape Town.
yeah,
And we opened the office, we expanded from Durban. We opened the office in
okay,
January last year, and
yeah,
we're based in Kenilworth. And um, yes, it's been quite a lovely experience
yeah,
expanding
yeah,
into the Cape Town
yes.
community.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. And also, I like what you said about it's about personal relationships, because that's been my experience of you is that even though we have a professional relationship, you feel like an
Mm,
old friend that I've known forever and I just feel comfortable with and I just trust. So, yeah.
thank you.
So it's a pleasure. So, what is, in very simple terms, a marriage contract and why do you need one?
Marriage contract is a contract between the couple, and it regulates how they want to regulate their separate assets or assets that they want to share with each other. In
Okay.
South Africa, we have a default position where if you don't have a marriage contract, then you are automatically married in community of property, which means that there are no separate estates and the couple join their estates into one, and the law pretty much treats you as a minor, which
Okay.
means that you effectively cannot do anything without your spouse
Yeah.
agreeing to what you want to do with your estate.
Yeah.
So that's obviously not a marital regime that I would recommend at all. So the
Yeah.
marriage contract is a contract that is registered, and it allows the parties to design pretty much how
Okay.
they want their marriage relationship to evolve as it relates to their estates.
Okay. Okay. And I think the other thing is the implication that being married in community of property would have business-wise. If you're married in community of property, your spouse would be directly affected if something goes wrong with your business.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. There is no separation of profits and losses. So
Yeah.
as much as you would share in your spouse's wins, you are most certainly going to share in their losses as well.
Yeah.
And if you own your own business and something goes wrong with that,
Yeah.
your spouse will be sharing that loss. And creditors are allowed to attach property and assets that belong to both of you.
Yeah.
Now, if you imagine having a family, the impact on your family life if this happens.
Oh,
So
yes.
marriage
Oh, yeah.
contracts are absolutely imperative.
Okay. And how does one go about setting up a marriage contract? Can you download a contract online? Can you go to the High Court? Must you go through an attorney? How does that work?
Yes, yes. Please don't. Please don't
Yeah.
download a contract online.
Okay.
You need to see an attorney,
Yeah.
and the contract itself is
Yeah.
notarized. And you
Okay.
sign the contract in front of the notary, and it's then registered in the deeds office by a conveyancer.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it is probably the most important contract that a couple will sign in their lives
Yeah.
because of the consequences that flow from it, and also because of the protection it offers.
Yeah.
It's literally a shield between you and the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah. And what advice would you give to couples who are young and they're in love and they're just starting out with life and they're not really concerned about having a contract in place because, the hormones and the the happy feelings of love are going. What would you say to them?
please have a conversation with each other. It is, this is one of the difficult conversations you have to have before you marry.
Yeah,
And I often have a couple who consult with me and they haven't had that conversation, which means that I ask the difficult questions and then they have to apply their minds. And what it does is it takes you to a very vulnerable place,
yeah,
and you have to be absolutely honest and transparent about your assets and liabilities.
yeah,
And
yeah.
money is an incredibly emotive topic.
Yes.
And often, yes, often you can see the difficulty that couples have. And
Yeah,
if I sense that, then we will have a gentle conversation, ask some questions that's going to have them think, and
yeah,
then send them away, and then we meet again.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you have the implications of what you include and what you exclude in an antenuptial contract have
yeah.
far-reaching, long consequences.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And it's funny how money does change things as well. And people don't like to talk about money, and yet that's
Mm.
so important in a relationship to be open and honest about where your money's going and how you're spending it together as a couple. So,
Yes.
while on the topic of money, how expensive is it to have a marriage contract drawn up? Is it expensive, very expensive, or not?
For the protection you're going to get, it's
Yeah.
very inexpensive. The way that I charge is antenuptial contracts are governed by a prescribed tariff.
Okay.
So I don't charge an hourly rate for consultations or, I mean, there's elements of estate planning. You do have intimate knowledge of the couple's financial positions, and
Yeah.
often there's a little bit of estate planning that comes into it. But
Okay.
I charge on a prescribed tariff, and at the
Okay.
moment it's around 3,500.
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
above that, you've
Yeah.
got the deed office registration fees, which at the
Okay.
moment are around 500 Rand.
Okay. So it's actually really
Hmm,
reasonably priced. And as you say, for the
absolutely.
protection you're getting, it's really well worth it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
what happens to someone who's watching this video and they're going, we are married in community of property. Oh, flip, I think we need to change to an antenuptial or a prenup agreement. And
Hmm.
what do they do? What is the process for them?
Okay. If you need to change your
Yeah.
marital regime after you are legally married, that's going to require a High Court application. And
Okay.
what you will then have is a post-nuptial agreement.
Okay. Okay.
It is a High Court application, though, and what you need to consider is that all your creditors have to be notified, and the
Okay.
application itself is done on affidavit where you have to set out to the court very sound reasons why you didn't register your antenuptial before you got married. And
Okay.
your creditors can object. And
Okay.
your creditors also include
Sure.
SARS.
Sure. Okay. So now your business gets intimately involved with your personal life.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
You're changing your status in the eyes of your creditors. So
Yeah.
before they had both of you on the hook.
Yes.
Now you are telling them that you are separating that.
Yes.
So if there's a
Yeah.
lot of debt, it's much more difficult to
Okay.
register a post-nuptial because you have to, invariably, if there's a lot of debt, what will happen is that the spouse will need to sign as a surety, or they would have to go down
Okay.
that
Yeah.
avenue.
Yeah.
It's
No.
an expensive exercise.
Yeah. No. Rather pay the fees up front, get it done right the
Mm.
first time. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then for young couples, because I get a lot of young couples, they're going to buy their first home. Can you help them with buying a first home? And how can you help them if so?
Absolutely. I am a conveyancer, so I
Okay.
do specialize in property transactions and commercial work. So
Okay.
I find that often meeting the young couples, it's normally the first time that they have exposure to an attorney when they
Yes.
do their marriage contracts.
Yeah.
And they might have started a business, they're thinking of a new home, or often they get gifted homes by their parents.
Okay.
And it just opens a whole world of your attorney can actually be your friend.
Yes. Yeah.
and your partner
Yeah.
in life in sense of when you're making these big decisions.
Yes.
So that is that's why I love meeting the couples and the relationship building, because
Yes.
invariably you have a continuing relationship with them.
Yeah, yeah, because you could go right through from
Mhm.
helping them with their marriage contract, buying their first home, estate planning, and all the rest of it as well. So you're actually
Yes,
walking an entire life cycle and life path with them. So
absolutely.
yeah, I've never
Absolutely.
actually thought of it like that, but that makes
Yes.
sense. Yeah,
On that note, Leslie, I've had antenuptial contracts that I did 25 years ago,
yeah,
and I'm now dealing with the execution of when things happen in life. For
yes,
example, I have a
yeah,
client now whose husband has died,
okay,
and the antenuptial contract is then needing to be reconciled, the assets on death. It's not just for
okay,
divorce,
yeah,
it's also on death. So it's those horrible double D.
okay, yes, yeah,
And we're dealing with that now. And I remember them so clearly as a couple.
yeah,
And I've helped them set up trusts. And now the husband has passed away. And now we're doing the reconciliation of the accrual
okay.
that they chose.
Yeah, sure. Okay. That's something I wouldn't have actually thought about, what happens when your spouse passes. So I'm pleased you brought that up. That's, yeah. Is there anything else you think is important for couples to know or in your line of work? Just
I
off the
think
cuff?
the most important sort of decision around what kind of antenuptial contract you're going to choose, because you get
Yes.
the antenuptials with accrual and
Yes.
without accrual. And often
Ah,
I'm finding the later second marriages, when there's a blended family or
okay.
there's a huge distortion in the asset value of the
Okay.
spouses or
Yeah.
age,
Yes.
then invariably it would be a straight antenuptial rather than the
Okay.
accrual.
Okay.
Alternatively, if they choose the accrual, there might be a lot of assets that are excluded to cater for their personal circumstances. So you can sense that as much as this is a light conversation we're having, there's a lot
Yes.
of detail that needs to be
Yeah.
extracted when I meet with the couples.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that goes back to what you were saying. Please don't just download a contract because
No.
the nuances that you're going to bring out will help them plan better and secure a much better life, as a protected life for themselves, in a lot of ways. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I can
Yes.
see that now. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to stop the recording and thank you. And we will carry on chatting after this. Okay.
Thank you, Leslie.